Hi, my name's Rihanna.
And I'm Nafisa. Where did you get most of your ideas from?
Once I had those two images of the riots in my mind, 2011, 958, I just kind of went online and read about as much as I could about what happened, around near Hackney. I live in Greenwich, so we could hear the riots from Lewisham, Charlton. And also the riot in '58, I kind of looked up on that just to find more detail why they started and what England was like at that time. But I think what was interesting about 1958 is I think that was the year. I don't know if you know this. That was the year I think where it's argued where the phrase teenager was first conceived. Before then, the notion of being a teenager didn't exist. You left school at 14 or 15 and you went to work and found a job. That was it. So there was no being young. There was no being going out parties and stuff like that. So I think in 1958, post-war, something changed. Some people say it could be because at that time, sort of late 40s to 50s, there was a big wave of immigration from the West Indies, of which my parents were part of. So they came to this country, to help England rebuild itself after the war. So my mum went in hospitals, my dad, went on buses. They all did that. They all contributed to rebuild England. But they brought, they brought themselves as well. They brought their personalities, their character, their culture, and they married it in with the English culture that already existed. So England was changing, really. And 1958 was a very sort of, it was quite bright, from the kind of gloom, that some people associated the war, post-war with. That gave me a sort of really good, strong start to write the play and to capture what was going on in that time. And then I kind of sort of to balance it, I was writing about also what was going on in England now. And like I said, much has changed, culturally, but still something's still the same. We've still got young people, a section of young people, I should say, not all, feeling they're not being listened to, or they feel like the powers that be are not caring enough about them.
Is there a reason why you wrote about racism, rape, and riots in the play?
With all of those three things you just listed, the subject matter meant a lot to me, and it's just something I wanted to address, and I felt a young audience such as you could handle it, really, because, like I said, so much has been written about, so much has been debated about young people, and some of it's good, and some of it is bad, and some of it scares me. It feels sometimes I'm living in a very different England than I was when I was younger. I just wanted to write a piece that kind of sort of just said something about that, about how Candice, girls such as Candice, is perceived. Actually, I wanted to put my heart on my sleeve and just say, this isn't right, and I'm going to write a play that shows that this isn't right. But obviously, it's a story I'm telling, so I can't just sort of, it's a play I'm writing. It's not a documentary. Yeah. So, and it's a story, and stories have got to have their highs and their lows and their surprises, And when I was at college, one of my tutors said something really good about how when you tell a story, the best way to kind of really grip your audience and pull them in is try to have your very good character do a very bad thing, and try to have your very bad character do a very good thing, because that just makes it interesting, because no one's universally good and no one's universally bad. I think that's the point he was making. And that's what I was trying to sort of convey in the play. So even so, Candice, in her heart, is a good person, but in the play she does bad things. But there are reasons why she's doing what she does. And by me showing that, I'm also showing the world she's living in, and hopefully I'm showing this is wrong. It's wrong that a young girl like that is treated the way she is in the play. And it's important for me that she realises that as well. She feels it's all her fault at the beginning of the play, and I wanted to take her on a journey and helped along by Sam as well. He's taken on a journey. He's sort of saying, "This is the way I lived, and I'm just, I made mistakes, and you're making mistakes as well, and you need to come to terms with what happened to you. And more importantly, you need to understand and tell yourself it wasn't your fault. You are not to blame for what happened to you, and she wasn't to blame."
What is the message in your play that you want, like, the audience to take?
I want them to take whatever it is they can. I don't like prescribing my messages to the player. Like, I want people to kind of get what they can from, make up their mind for themselves. I guess I just want you to know who you are and where you're going and what you want, in a weird way. That's generally, and that's not just me, Roy the writer, talking. I think that's just more me, Roy, person. Saying it to you. That's all I want from you, your generation. I want you to know that, and I don't want you to hurt anybody to get it. I just want you to feel good about yourselves, and I know it's hard, because I think we're living in a world right now where it is, but it is difficult, and you're going to grow up with so many people, having expectations of you, and making preconceptions about you, but only you know who you are. And I would urge you to stay with that. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you know where you're going. And that's kind of, I would say that's my sort of rallying call to your generation, to know that. And if my play helps you do that, then fine. My play is not going to change your life. It'd be very arrogant for me to assume that. But I would hope it plants a seed.
What inspired you to be a writer?
I think I was just one. I was just one of those kids that just loved reading and writing. I was Wake Up Williams. That was kind of my sort of. That's what teachers always used to say to me when I was at school, because I was a bit of a daydreamer. Even in lessons like maths and geography, which I was absolutely rubbish at, I was very creative. So instead of sort of doing my times tables, I'd be writing a short story. I always used to get into trouble. I just couldn't help myself. That was just who I was. My mum is an avid book reader. I remember growing up. I can't remember to this day. I can't remember a time. I can't remember a time when I go around and see her where she doesn't have a book in her hand. She's always reading, and I get that from her. I just loved being told stories, and I loved telling stories, and then I went into just writing stories, and it suited me. It suited my character. I remember the teachers were quite perplexed by me when they read my sort of school reports and my marks, because I've got D's and E's for maths, but English, history as well. I liked history. I got A's. When I'm writing, trying to think of what the next line for, I know something like Candy used to say, I kind of pace around the room and I talk. I say her lines. I kind of speak in her voice. So in that moment, Candy's kind of sort of taken over me. It's not as weird as it sounds, but it's necessary. That's the closest I've got. Yeah. Did you relate to it? Could you relate to the piece?
Yes.
What bits could you relate to?
Like the part when Candice tries to basically is in denial about not about loving Ryan and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Can I relate to that part?
Okay.
Sort of similar, but the bit at the end where she has to make the big decision with what she wants to do.
Yeah.
So that's come up in my life a few times, but in different situations. So exactly. I understand the pressure that she felt when that came up. Yeah.
That's good, because that's kind of what I wanted to play. So it's different situations, but you can I think we can all relate to being sort of feeling under pressure.